Hey, good evening. It's Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. How are y'all doing? It's officially winter here in New England. Nice toasty 17 degrees Fahrenheit today. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to my sponsors and supporter. My sponsor is Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, who supports veterans. And if you're in the South Shore area of Massachusetts, go to asacrealestate.com to find out more. Second sponsor is Mark Holmes of Reaper Detailing and Power Washing. If it's dirty, he can clean it. Don't get clean, get Reaperfied. And if you notice the new logo at the bottom left of the screen, that is made by a Mr. Mike Damon with a Vet Unite, Marine, all-around cool guy, coming into the Oscar Mike Radio to spruce up some things. So on to the big word of the week. I got an email asking me to weigh in on this story, and I'll have the link to the story in the Oscar Mike Radio blog post. And I'm going to say right now that I really didn't want to do this. This is not usually the kind of thing I do. But I feel I can't really shy away from anything. So I'm going to go to the website and kind of go over this and try to opine where I will. All I'm going to say in preference is this is not the same Marine Corps I was in. So here we go. There's a story on militaryq.com site. This kind of aggregates military news and other things and, support of veterans. And the article says, Marines says her sexual photos and videos from a paid site are being spread around Camp Wilson. Okay, so if I understand the title of that article correctly, and this is the Marine listed here, has photos of a sexual nature on a paid site where you can look at them, and now those photos are being shared with a much wider audience. So let's read this article a little bit more and see what happens. In order to make some extra money to pay bills and help her child, a single mom and Marine reservist said she created an account that sold sexual photos and videos of herself online. She said she now has to stop because the subscriber took the videos and pictures off her page and started distributing it to Marines in 29 Palms, California. Sergeant Madison Willis with the Marine Corps Forces Reserve said she started selling the pictures and videos to take care of her son. This is kind of out of my wheelhouse, and yeah, the pause is on purpose. The pause is definitely on purpose. Look, for those people out there, men and women, who are serving our country, either in the reserves or active duty, if you are having personal problems or family problems, there are a lot of resources out there to assist you through times of trouble. All kinds of resources. There are resources that are available to reservists that aren't available to active duty, vice versa. Resources available to everybody. So it's not that I can't have empathy for this Marine. I do. As a Marine, I understand that life is tough. as a single parent especially, I certainly understand that. But I don't think that I would try to sell pictures of myself online. That's just me. So let's continue on. She said she was a single mom and doing what she was doing so she could pay bills. She said in messages to the Marine Corps Times. Let me look at this. Now, the Marine Corps Times story, I'll have that linked in the blog site as well, took out her image and her name. Okay, but we'll stick with this one since this is the one I found first. And she said it doesn't make sense for her to get a night job because she pays for school or daycare during the day and then pay for night care, which would just be my whole paycheck anyway. That leads me to the question about where's the father in this? I have to ask that question. Maybe there's an extenuating circumstance, but if you have a child and there is a father and he is, he should be involved in the child's life, one, and two, if he's not involved by his own choice, shame on him, and three, he is still obligated to take care of that kid. So I'm not making fun of or making light of the fact that you're a single mom, but I have to ask that question. I just have to. I'm no judgment here, but I just curious. So the article goes on to say that she was tipped off by a friend in her old unit, and it goes on to say that everybody in the base and in their unit was seeing her image, so on and so forth. And then she tweeted some frustration. She will not be posting on the site. You can read the article yourself and forget what the site is. And wasn't too happy. And she said she knew the risk of doing something like this, but never expected it to be airdropped to an entire exercise. All right, so I was in the Marine Corps a while ago. I don't understand the word airdropped. Does airdrop mean that? Well, airdrop to me is likens to like a propaganda campaign or PSYOPs campaign where they airdrop leaflets into an enemy territory. So I'm not really sure where that term comes from. And it goes on to say that representatives from the Marine Forces Reserve have not responded to any inquiries from the Marine Corps Times as to whether her page violated any orders or policies. But a representative of the Marine Corps said that by distributing the content for free without Willis's consent, the active duty Marines may be violating a Marine Corps order against wrongful distribution or broadcasting of images. So that to me is the crux of the matter here. I'm going to take out any kind of perspective on whether or not she should or should not be doing this. I've asked a question, why, when the resources available. I kind of want to know where the dad is in all this because she's a single mom. But you know, let's just say that she is really in a jam and trying to take care of her family. It doesn't sound like she would mind if the Marines were paying for access to see the photos, but she definitely had an issue that the photos were shared without her consent, without being compensated for them. As an artist myself, I'm not saying she's an artist, but she generates content through a truly unique way. Well, not really unique, but different than what I would do. I can see her point. But this speaks to another issue of, if you put something out there, there's look, I mean, there could be another person on this same site having, their images taken and shared without their knowledge, and there's not a lot of recourse for that. So I'm not really sure what you can do here. You would have to do a massive investigation to figure out, one, how people in her unit discovered those images, and then two, provide enough evidence to show that, in this case, sharer zero, if you want to say, was the person that, found the photos and videos and leaked them to other Marines. So I think that's what the issue is. Look, seeing women in all kinds of states of undress or dress, however you want to say that, is a popular pastime amongst my brethren. Lord knows, when you're out in the field for 6, 8, 10 weeks at a time, you're going to take any kind of enjoyment where you can get it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So, to answer the person's question, they want me to weigh in on this and tell me, is this woman a bad Marine, or is she a good Marine? Or does she have a legitimate beef or not? Let me state again that I can certainly, in more ways than one, understand what it's like to try to provide for your family as a single parent. I can certainly understand that this is not the Marine Corps that I joined. I'm sure back in my day and all through time there were male and female Marines working in the adult entertainment industry to make ends meet. I'm not even going to try to say that there wasn't, right? So that's happened before. Did she make the best choice in how to provide for her family? Well, I don't know. Maybe she did try going to those other areas, other resources to get assistance, and maybe she couldn't. Maybe she didn't know about them, which is why we have this podcast, why we do the videos to try to make people aware of issues out there. So I can't really say that, I can blame her for this. I'm not going to call her a bad person. Best judgment? I don't know enough. I wouldn't do it, and I would hope that someone counsels her to take another path. I don't know. And then again, I have her picture up here. She seems like a pretty attractive young woman. She said, I've got this thing, I can use it, I can make money, take care of my kid at night with very little effort. Okay. It seems like, the crux of your issue, to answer your question, sir, is the issue is images were shared without her consent on a paid site. Right or wrong, good choice or not choice, that is the true crux of the issue. And somebody in her unit, somebody she knew, recognized her and started sharing these images. So, in of itself, you could say that that's blatantly wrong, and technically and legally it is. But on the other hand, I mean, anything, it just goes to show that anything that's put on the internet is shareable and capturable and repeatable forever. People, the Marine Corps Times took down her tweet and her image, and it was kind of funny. This site that I got to first had her image and the tweets up, and the Marine Corps Times site did not. So, her image is tagged somewhere in the metadata and will be viewable for ever. Well, mostly forever. So that's kind of Again, it's not a podcast that I want to do. It's not a discussion I really wanted to have. But I think it's a different kind of military now. And again, I'm sure back in when I was serving, there were women who, got told, hey, you come to my studio and take some photos. I'm going to pay you, $200, $500, $1,000, cash. And if you're a, E3, E4, E2, you got a kid, you've got, a family to take care of, and you can walk into a studio and 2 hours later come out with $1,000. Well, that beats, working the base commissary, let me tell you. So I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure, male Marines have done things in the same area to make a couple bucks on the side. So I think the lesson here for me is, one, if Marines really take care of Marines, and if she was having problems, did she get the help that she needed? I could say this another way and flip the coin and say, it's kind of shameful that, we talk about Marine values and esprit de corps and brotherhood and sisterhood, but one of our own had to resort to this to make ends meet. And yes, she was reservist, and it's not like that her squad mates serve with her every day, but still, they see her once a month. I mean, if you're an NCO and you have leadership, you know there's problems going on. Is the problem with her the problem the fact that we couldn't take care of one of our own, and we couldn't guide this person the right way? And when I say right, I'm not saying that what she did was necessarily wrong. I'm not going to say that at all. What I'm going to say is there could have been a better way to handle this. So you can look at it that way too. Maybe she could have made a better choice, but if we as Marines are doing our job, then this wouldn't even be told. And for the person who decided that it was a good idea to share those photos, shame on you, man, or woman. It could be a woman that's jealous or upset. It could be a guy with nothing better to do. I don't know who actually shared it. I'm not going to conjecture, but shame on the person that did. Because, even though this is being tracked down, the end result is she's got to find some way to take care of her family. So I'm really trying not to judge. I have a couple of questions I would ask her if she was on the podcast. One, what prompted you to do this? Two, where's Dad? Is the father involved, or can you, get the father involved from a financial perspective if he's choosing not to be involved with his child's life? And three, I certainly understand that you produce something and you're not getting paid for it. And again, dude, I'm going to tell you, you put this in my inbox, but I'm going to ask you, look, if you're an NCO, and you are, and you're sending me this, if one of your Marines is thinking about doing this, what would you do? And why should a Marine have to do this at all? So I'm not exactly giving her a free pass here. I'm not. There's some questions there. But as a whole, we as Marines need to be there for other Marines and not do stupid stuff like this. And I don't know how this will be received. I'm not trying to call her out. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm certainly the last person to do that, especially when you're trying to put food on the table. And, if you in this picture are seeing this and you want to come on Oscar Mike Radio and talk to me about it, we'll set that up and talk. Again, I'm not trying to judge. I'm trying to answer a question, what I think, and that's what I think. So to wrap up one more time, I think that there could have been a better way to make some extra money. I can certainly understand why you went this way. Again, I want to know where Dad is. Shame on him if he's not involved with his child's life. And then 3, if you are a Marine who served with this individual and you did this to her, shame on you. And then, again, it's a shame that Marines have to do this kind of stuff to make ends meet while they serve their country. I don't know how this is going to be played out. I don't know how this is going to be received. I really don't. But again, I answered the question. You can check it out. And again, the invitation is open if the person involved here wants to come on and talk to me about it. I offer no judgment, just offer a place for you to tell your side of the story and educate us about how your reality is. So to close this out, I have 7 days of content coming up the week of Thanksgiving. So I'm going to list those episodes in the blog post for this one and next week. But the week of Thanksgiving, starting that Monday through Sunday, there will be almost 7 hours of content. I've never done it before, and I'm hoping that this will really play out and be well received. Right? I'm really hoping that people like the stories, the interaction. A lot of them, almost all of them, were person-to-person interviews in different places. Challenged me on a very high level to get out of my comfort zone and try some new stuff, and that's what this is all about. So again, lots of good stuff coming up. Want to thank everybody for the support. I hope you had a good Veterans Day, and happy birthday, Marines. I'm Travis. This is Oscar Mike Radio. Throw me a like, subscribe, or share. We are locked through lunch.